Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Let's get started. Our top focus tonight on Gravitas. US President Donald Trump has said he will be delivering a major statement on Russia on Monday. This at a time when Ukraine is reeling from the most punishing wave of Russian airstrikes it has faced since the start of the war. What lies ahead? What's in store for Ukraine? What would Trump's move be and what would it mean for the war? We're getting to all of that in just a bit, and here's a look at what else is lined up for you on the show. We are telling you all about a crucial message from India's National Security Advisor, Ajit, Dvals, on India's strategic might reflected during Operation Sindoor and rubbishing Pakistan propaganda. We tell you all about what's unfolding in Pakistan with the banned Balochistan Liberation Front targeting multiple government and military sites across the province. All this and more coming up. The next 48 hours could very much define Ukraine's fate, and all eyes are on the White House. US President Donald Trump has said he will be delivering a major statement on Russia this coming Monday. This is a war that has dragged on for over 3 years now, and Donald Trump's words carry a lot more weight than ever. This comes as Ukraine reels from the most punishing wave of airstrikes it has faced since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia unleashed a massive drone and missile assault on multiple Ukrainian cities for a third consecutive day. Ukraine's Air Force saying it intercepted 382 aerial threats, with Russia largely targeting Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. And according to the Ukrainian officials, a Russian drone struck a maternity hospital in Kharkiv, with the patients rushing to take shelter as windows were shattered and shards of glass fell just about everywhere. In a post on social media, Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky said that at least 9 people were injured at the Kharkiv hospital, including women who had just given birth, still recovering from the surgery.
It was very scary because I was so full of adrenaline that I probably forgot that I had stitches. Now I am slowly recovering from the shock.
It's important to note here that Russia has repeatedly said it does not target civilian areas in Ukraine. Russian aerial strikes also hit Ukraine's Dnipro, Mykolaiv, Sumy, Odessa regions. In Odessa, the Russian strikes reportedly injured at least 9 people. The attack caused fires across several buildings, and emergency crews were seen battling the flames. One Russian Iskander missile also destroyed a Ukrainian armed forces deployment area in Ukraine's southern city of Mykolaiv. The Russian Defense Ministry released footage showing the camp erupting in flames after the ballistic missile strike. In fact, the Defense Ministry said Russian troops used high-precision long-range weapons and drones to hit military targets. Now, this is the third consecutive day that Ukraine was hit by large-scale airstrikes. Just on Wednesday and Thursday alone, more than 1,100 drones and missiles were fired towards Ukraine, primarily towards the Ukrainian capital. The fighting is spilling into the Russian territory as well. Ukrainian drone and artillery strikes killed at least 3 people inside Russia on Friday in Lipetsk, Tula and Belgorod regions. Russia has said it shot down 155 Ukrainian drones. Around 1/3 of it was brought down in the Kursk region near the border with Ukraine. The Russian regional governor could be seen inspecting the aftermath of the drone attacks in Kursk. And back in Washington, US President Donald Trump's administration is reportedly preparing a new military assistance package for Ukraine. It could be reportedly as high as $300 million and may include Patriot missile systems and medium-range rockets. Speaking to NBC, Donald Trump expressed disappointment with the Russian president's continued attacks on Ukraine. And most importantly, Trump said he plans to make a major statement on Russia this coming Monday. The Kremlin reacted to Trump's statements earlier today, stating that they are waiting for Trump's statement, I'm quoting here, so that we can understand what President Trump meant. We carefully monitor all the details in the comments of the US leader. Monday's statement is likely to be decisive and may just outline the next steps that America takes in this war. On the diplomatic front, the Kremlin earlier today also said that it is waiting for Ukraine to propose dates for the next round of the peace talks. Face-to-face meetings in Istanbul back in May and June led to prisoner swaps and the return of fallen soldiers, but real progress has been rather elusive. And as of now, with Ukraine reeling under Russian fire in such a way and diplomacy largely stalled, the world is waiting to hear what the American president will be saying on Monday. Because if anyone can change things or stop this war and push it to the brink, it is the US president. Also the big question, are chemical weapons being used in the Russia-Ukraine war? Both countries are pointing fingers at each other. Ukraine and Russia, each accusing the other of deploying chemical weapons on the battlefield. Both have demanded an international probe. So who really is telling the truth? It's hard to say, of course. But if these claims are true, the war has taken a far more dangerous turn than anyone anticipated, and these allegations are not new. Over the last 3 years of this war, both sides have repeatedly denied using chemical weapons, even as the accusations continue to rise. Let's just start off with Ukraine's latest claim as of now. On Tuesday, Ukraine formally asked the global chemical weapons watchdog in The Hague to investigate Russia's alleged use of banned toxic munitions against its forces. In fact, Kiev submitted a request to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, asking for an investigation to be established. And this comes after Dutch and German intelligence agencies last Friday said they had evidence of widespread use of illegal chemical weapons by Russia along the front lines. The OPCW has conducted similar probes in the past, like in 2018, when its team found that the Syrian government forces and ISIS had used banned chemical weapons in the Syrian civil war. Last May, the United States was also the first to accuse Russia of using chloropyrin, a chemical compound more toxic than riot control agents, first used by Germany in World War I. But last year, the OPCW said initial accusations by both countries were insufficiently substantiated. And according to the Dutch military intelligence, at least 3 Ukrainian deaths have reportedly been tied to chemical weapons use, and more than 2,500 people have reported chemical weapons-related symptoms to the Ukrainian health authorities. What does Russia say? Russia also has approached the OPCW. Moscow has asked the watchdog to investigate its claim that Ukrainian troops are using toxic munitions. The Russian envoy said at an OPCW session at The Hague that Moscow continues to document, quote, not only instances of Ukrainian nationalists using toxic chemicals and military-grade poison agents, but also evidence of a widespread system for their mass production in Ukraine, quote unquote. In fact, The Arab Prince said Russia has requested the OPCW to dispatch experts to verify its findings. Earlier this month, Russia also announced the discovery of a makeshift lab allegedly used by Ukrainian troops to store chlorpyrifos. Moscow claims Ukrainian forces have been dropping toxic substances from drones, and the Russian envoy rejected accusations from the European countries, calling it a campaign by, quote, the pro-war faction in the EU to falsify evidence. But what exactly are chemical weapons for those unversed, and what does the international law actually say about their use? To put it simply, chemical weapons are toxic chemicals used to injure or kill. They include choking agents like chlorine, blister agents like mustard gas, deadly nerve agents like sarin. And who is using chemical weapons, if anyone at all? The answer remains unclear, but if proven true, these claims could signal a terrifying escalation in this war, an escalation that would have devastating consequences far beyond the battlefield. Shifting focus for now, a powerful message from India's top security official on the country's strategic might reflected during Operation Sindoor is creating ripples. The Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Dvals dismantling Pakistan's claim of inflicting damage on India, unleashing a fierce challenge. Take a look at this report.
Nine terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. We missed none. Entire operation was started at 5 minutes past 1 and was over at 28 minutes past 1. 23 minutes. It was precisely the point where we knew we were.
Resonating with unwavering confidence in India's operational and tech prowess, showcased during Operation Sindoor. National Security Advisor Ajit Dvals rubbishes Pakistani propaganda on its India offensive, stressing that evidence points at quite something else.
Foreign press and all these things, they said Pakistan did that and this. You tell me one photograph, one imagery. These days, these imageries are from the satellites all over the world. They are this thing. Which shows any Indian damage being done, even a glass pane having been torn.
Dvals' defiant statement is rooted in the stunning success of Operation Sindoor itself. In the wee hours of May 7th, the counter-terrorism mission is seen as a textbook example of surgical precision. Over just 23 minutes, India's forces had targeted 9 terrorist camps deep inside Pakistan, strategically located far from border areas. Another focus, NSA Dvals highlighted the success of indigenous systems, penetrable wall, while reinforcing the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative.
How much of an indigenous content was there? We are proud of it, that some of the best systems that worked, whether it was our BrahMos systems, whether it was our integrated air control and command systems.
Dvals' challenge to Pakistan is clear: show the evidence or acknowledge the truth of India's overwhelming strategic success, reaffirming a strong stance against Pakistan alongside India's security and strategic advancements. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Our next story is from Pakistan's Balochistan. It has witnessed one of its largest coordinated attacks in recent years. The banned Balochistan Liberation Front launched what it calls the operation targeting multiple government and military sites across the province. Late Tuesday night, The Balochistan Liberation Front, BLF, carried out a wave of attacks across several districts in the province. The group calls it the operation, which literally means dawn, marking what it calls a new chapter in its decades-long insurgency against the Pakistani state. In fact, at least 17 attacks were reported in Panjgur, Surab, Kej, Haran districts. The offensives targeted Pakistan military checkpoints, damaged administrative infrastructure, disrupted communication lines. The BLF spokesperson, Major Guaram Baloch, said that Baloch resistance has entered a new phase. The latest operation, he said, is designed to show that Baloch fighters can launch large-scale synchronized operations. The group claimed its attacks stretch from the Makran coast to the Kohe Suleiman Mountains, touting the expanded operational reach of the group. While the Pakistan authorities have not released the full details of the damage or the casualties, local reports are saying that there have been significant disruptions in parts of Kej and Panjgur, where communication services remain down. The Pakistan security forces have reportedly launched search operations in the said areas, and the BLF says it will release more information once the operation concludes. Remember, despite being rich in minerals, Balochistan remains one of Pakistan's poorest regions, with long-standing grievances over economic neglect as well as heavy military presence fueling periodic rebellions. We've been telling you about this. The Balochistan Liberation Front is among several groups there fighting for greater control over the province's vast natural resources and more political autonomy. The BLF has been active for over 2 decades, demanding greater political autonomy, control over Balochistan's mineral wealth. According to the South Asia terrorism portal, Baloch insurgent groups carried out nearly 940 attacks last year, leaving over 1,000 dead. And the BLF alone was responsible for nearly a third of these attacks, which only goes to show its growing operational capacity. In fact, early this year itself, Baloch groups hijacked a passenger train, killing over 60 people. They also launched Operation Herov 2.0, resulting in intense battles with security forces. These frequent large-scale attacks suggesting an emboldened insurgency capable of high-impact, coordinated strikes. And as this latest operation continues, Pakistan security forces have a major challenge. The latest wave of attacks raising big questions as well about Islamabad's ability to contain the tensions in Balochistan. And before we go on any further, here's a quick look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. We're getting you a special report on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and telling you more about what things are looking like on the ground. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? We tell you why the elusive creator of Bitcoin is being called the most mysterious rich person the world has never met. Rapper Kanye West is facing global outrage all over again, this time over a controversial track allegedly praising Hitler. We get to the complete story, all this and more coming up. Shifting focus for now to another Chinese research vessel, which reportedly remained hidden from plain sight in deep underwater for days on end. Earlier this week, French maritime intelligence firm Unseen Labs raised alarm about a hidden Chinese research vessel covertly carrying out its operations in the Bay of Bengal region. But how exactly did it manage to remain hidden? by reportedly switching off its automatic identification system, a commonly used method by vessels to try and evade detection, one that clearly did not seem to work. During a 16-day monitoring mission, Unseen Labs tracked the vessel using space-based radio frequency intelligence, a technology that it specializes in, to reveal suspected maritime activity in the strategic zones. And what more do we know about this vessel? Beijing calls it a research vessel. By research, it means not the one set out for scientific quest per se, but one allegedly used for snooping and gathering classified information. And there's more to this. According to a survey by the Unseen Labs, nearly 10% of over 1,800 ships monitored were found to be operating without active AIS signals, which basically makes tracking them almost next to impossible. No points for guessing, these also include Chinese fleet of ships and vessels. However, it by no means is an isolated event. In March this year itself, a Chinese ship, Xiangyang Hong 01, anchored west of the Andaman Islands for 3 months straight, reportedly. In July last year, another Chinese ship was tracked near an Indian naval submarine warfare exercise. Another one spotted off India's east coast in March when India tested one of its Agni 5 missiles. The Bay of Bengal is an area long eyed by China to try and expand its maritime footprint. Geographically as well, it remains one of the most crucial areas, and lying between India, Bangladesh and Myanmar, with Sri Lanka and Indonesia to its south, making it a focal point for trade and naval presence. There are billionaires, there are so-called tech gods, and then there is Satoshi Nakamoto, the most mysterious rich person. In fact, the world has never met him. Who is this person and what's the story here? The elusive creator of Bitcoin is not just famous for building the world's most rebellious currency, but is also sitting on one of the biggest fortunes in history. How big exactly? Over 1 million Bitcoins big. That's over $120 billion as Bitcoin hit a new high recently. And here's the kicker. Those coins have not moved, not once. For over 15 years, they have just been sitting there in a digital vault, untouched, like a sleeping dragon's hoard. No signs of spending, selling, or even poking around. And speculation has been doing the rounds constantly. Is Satoshi Nakamoto a lone cryptographer, an underground collective, or someone far more powerful? Some believe the person is dead. Others think Satoshi Nakamoto is watching silently, perhaps smiling away at the crypto chaos. A few even fear that if those coins ever do move, markets will panic like it's a digital apocalypse. In fact, the mystery has become part of the myth in a way. Unlike modern billionaires who buy rockets, sports teams, social media platforms perhaps, Satoshi Nakamoto chose silence, total invisibility, no yacht sightings, no keynote addresses, just a blinking wallet address holding more wealth than most countries. The untouched stash is not just an asset, it's a symbol, a reminder that Bitcoin began as an anti-establishment idea and its richest stakeholder never cashed out. So while markets rise and fall, the greatest mystery in crypto history remains frozen in time. The humanitarian nightmare gripping Gaza has descended into a new abyss of horror, with hospitals starved of fuel, forcing doctors to cram multiple premature babies into single incubators, and a devastating cash crunch fueling a staggering 130% inflation. The very fabric of life is disintegrating. More in this detailed report.
The night is shattered by explosions. The air is thick with dust and the cries of the wounded. In the Gaza city and Jabalia, streets are reduced to rubble. Homes are flattened. Lives buried beneath concrete and twisted metal. Amidst the carnage, a desperate struggle unfolds inside the remaining hospitals. Doctors running on fumes and hope cram newborns into overcrowded incubators, fighting to keep them alive as the last drops of fuel run dry.
We are dealing with critical cases of newborn babies, especially premature babies. The majority of them are deprived of oxygen during birth and they need ventilators to help stabilize them. We need continuous electricity 24 hours. If it is cut off, the equipment that we are using will cease to work, and this directly impacts the lives of the children we have.
Outside, the suffering is relentless. Pregnant women suffering from hunger walk for miles in search of food and safety, haunted by the fear of losing their unborn children.
Today, I'm suffering. I need to have a blood unit transfusions, blood units. I'm coming from a faraway place and on foot too, because I need to have a blood transfusion because of a very big deficiency, malnutrition.
The shattered remnants of Gaza bear witness to relentless destruction and death. The agony is palpable, etched on every face. Beyond the immediate threat to life, a silent, insidious killer stalks the streets. Economic strangulation. The war-wrecked strip faces an immense cash crunch, with nearly every bank inoperable and financial services paralyzed. Palestinians are forced to pay exorbitant commissions, sometimes up to 40%, to access their own money through an unregulated network of brokers.
Merchants object to it even though there is no problem with it. They used to object to the 10 shekels and stopped using it, and now they refuse the 20 shekels and the 50 shekels. As for the commission, it has reached 42%, meaning that you take half the salary and the other half is theirs.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu offers a conditional path to lasting peace, demanding Hamas disarm first. But for the civilians trapped in Gaza, with over 57,000 lives already lost while seeking aid, the immediate future is one of unimaginable hardship. A grim daily struggle against a rapidly spiraling humanitarian catastrophe.
Switching gears for now, Britain's Royal Air Force is facing sharp scrutiny as a new report has now put focus on the effectiveness and the future of its F35 fighter jet fleet. In fact, the UK's National Audit Office has found deep-rooted issues plaguing the $14 billion F35 program. From unserviceable aircraft to soaring operational costs, the findings raise serious doubts about Britain's air combat readiness. Originally promoted as a cutting-edge leap in aerial warfare, the F-35 fleet has reportedly underperformed, with only about one-third of the jets currently capable of meeting operational demands. And the report cites a critical lack of spare parts and a shortage of qualified technicians as the main reasons for this failure. Infrastructure remains incomplete, pilot training has suffered, most pilots are flying fewer hours than even the reduced benchmarks. And according to the report, the financial implications are massive. While the UK's Ministry of Defence previously claimed lower costs, auditors now projecting the programme's lifetime expense could rise to as high as $91 billion. That's reportedly nearly 4 times the official estimates, nearly 4 times. And only 38 jets have been delivered to date, with 10 more on order. Yet there is still no confirmed schedule for the rest of the fleet, and key software and weapons upgrades will not arrive until the next decade. The RAF's operational issues deepen overseas. A British Royal Navy F-35B stealth jet remains grounded at Kerala's airport in India. The aircraft diverted during a routine flight over the Arabian Sea after bad weather prevented it from returning to the HMS Prince of Wales. And it has been stranded on Indian soil for nearly a month due to an unresolved technical fault, with reports suggesting that if British engineers cannot fix it on site, the jet may need to be dismantled and flown back in parts. With mounting costs, grounded jets, falling morale, the Royal Air Force now faces hard questions. Has the British air power lost its pride? What would you do with a $200 million job offer? Would you build a startup, buy a spaceship? While you think about that answer, here's a Silicon Valley reality check. Meta is offering $200 million packages to poach elite AI talent from rivals like Apple. And no, this is not monopoly money. It's the going rate in the most cutthroat talent war tech has ever witnessed. In the race for AI dominance, Mark Zuckerberg is not just playing catch up. He is building what you might call a meta-scale master plan in a way. At the heart of it is the company's super intelligence division, a moonshot team designed to go toe-to-toe with OpenAI and Google DeepMind. And to fuel this ambition, Meta is handing out compensation deals so massive, most people would need a spreadsheet and a calculator just to process the zeros there. Here's one mastermind. Ruoming Pang, formerly a top AI researcher at Apple. Pang helped build the core of Apple's foundation model efforts, quietly powering everything from Siri upgrades to behind-the-scenes generative tech. And now he has switched allegiances and joined Meta's AI Avengers. In fact, his rumored 9-figure deal is not just an industry flex, it might be the blueprint for how future tech salaries are actually shaped. The stakes are sky high. Meta's aggressive hiring spree is making big tech rethink how it rewards the AI leadership. And it's not just about building algorithms anymore. It's about who can reimagine them first. And with Zuckerberg personally reaching out to recruits, this is not recruiting, it's corporate combat. Because in this race, the team with the smartest people may just end up building the smartest machines and maybe also reshape the future of how we earn, learn, and play. Shifting focus now to Africa. An inequality crisis seems to be looming there, and the biggest one is surrounding its wealth. In the latest, 4 African billionaires are now believed to have accumulated more wealth than half the continent's population combined, reportedly. In a report published by Oxfam, the 4 most affluent Africans are believed to hold a whopping $57.4 billion. They are said to be richer than approximately half of the continent's 1.5 billion inhabitants. While in its report, Oxfam named Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote as the richest man of Africa, with an estimated wealth of $23.3 billion. Among the other 3 are 2 South Africans and an Egyptian businessman. And as per the report, the rise of the super rich in Africa is a rather recent phenomenon, with no billionaires reported up until 2000. However, that picture stands changed now, with the continent boasting of 23 billionaires whose combined wealth has soared by 56% in just the past 5 years, reaching a staggering $112.6 billion. Not just that, top 5% Africans reportedly possess nearly $4 trillion, over twice the total wealth of the rest of the continent combined. But what really explains this boom is the immediate question. At the heart of this lies inequality and a gaping wealth disparity, it seems. In fact, the Oxfam report states that nearly half of the world's 50 most unequal countries are in Africa, something that poses a direct threat to its democracy as well as challenges of reducing poverty and the climate crisis. Oxfam also stating that government policies in Africa are increasingly biased against the poor, which allows the rich to get richer and the poor are left without much financial or political cover. Especially with billionaire wealth reportedly growing faster now than ever worldwide, these are likely to have serious consequences for Africa and its people. Something colossal is tearing through the heavens faster than anything we have seen before. It's not space dust or a rogue rock. This might be an interstellar messenger. Scientists are scrambling. The cosmos has thrown us a curveball, one we never saw coming.
A titanic celestial object has ripped through the edge of our solar system, defying all expectations, breaking all known speed limits and silencing seasoned scientists. Hurtling through space at a velocity that challenges belief, this is no ordinary asteroid. This is the largest, fastest, and only the third confirmed interstellar object ever recorded by humanity, and it's coming our way. Designated 3I Atlas, this is the path of the cosmic object. In its present trajectory, it will fly deep through the solar system, passing just inside the orbit of Mars. Scientists are baffled. Is it a rogue comet, an ancient relic flung from a dying star system? Or could it be something even more thrilling? An alien probe silently scanning our solar neighborhood? Make no mistake. This is no regular orbiting rock. It's cutting across the solar system at a blistering pace. This new cosmic visitor is similar to Oumuamua, which created quite a buzz for its unique shape, which is unlike any other asteroid. Oumuamua was first detected on October 2017. With telescopes around the world now locked on target, and probes soon adjusting their gaze, the race to decipher this enigma is on. The universe just knocked on our front door. What mysteries does this 3I Atlas holds?
Shifting focus now to India, where an initiative for stray dogs is being undertaken in the city of Bengaluru, and it has been making headlines. The government there has rolled out a rupees 2.9 crore plan to serve stray dogs chicken and rice daily. The local civic body has issued a request for a proposal seeking bids from agencies registered with the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. What's behind the move? This daily feeding program is designed to calm aggressive dogs and make the city safer for everyone. The contract is for 1 year and can be extended depending on performance.
As a part of that initiative only, one of the thought was that wherever in BBMP areas where the dog bite cases are more, either feeders are not there or there are feeder and locals conflicts are there in those areas, in order to reduce the aggressiveness or let's say scavenging activities of the dogs, BBMP should take up the feeding.
According to the plan, over 5,000 stray dogs across Bengaluru's 8 zones will receive one carefully prepared meal every day. The meals, each costing 22.42 rupees, are designed to meet a dog's daily nutritional needs, and the food will be prepared in local kitchens, monitored by CCTV, and delivered using GPS-enabled vehicles. At each feeding spot, 4 to 5 dogs will eat from reusable bowls, which will be cleaned after every use. And after the announcement, social media has lit up with reactions. While some have supported this initiative, others are also asking whether public funds should be spent on feeding stray dogs instead of focusing on sterilization efforts. As the city prepares to launch this unique program, all eyes are on whether this blend of chicken, rice, and civic responsibility will be able to bring peace and harmony to Bengaluru streets. Controversial rapper Kanye West is facing global outrage all over again, this time over a controversial track reportedly praising Hitler. A major hip-hop festival in Slovakia now has pulled the plug on West's upcoming performance, following widespread backlash over his May release that appears to praise Adolf Hitler. The Rubicon Festival, which was scheduled for the 20th of July, was said to be West's only confirmed live show in Europe this year, until organizers cancelled the set amid growing outrage. While the 48-year-old has 24 Grammys to his name, he is being increasingly known for his anti-Semitic remarks and controversial rants rather than his music. His latest song, released on the 8th of May, which is the same day that marks 80 years since Nazi Germany's defeat in World War II, the track shocked listeners by ending with an actual Hitler speech from 1935, left untranslated in original German. Germany banned the track for promoting extremist symbolism, and it has been removed from most mainstream platforms under hate speech laws. And as news of Kanye West's festival booking broke, thousands signed a petition demanding him to be dropped from it, calling his appearance an insult to historic memory. Over 300 earthquakes have struck beneath Mount Rainier in Washington state, the largest seismic storm since 2009. Scientists urge calm, but rising concerns also include the threat of a mega tsunami should a catastrophic event unfold. No immediate signs of danger, but the earth is rumbling and the warnings are only growing louder.
The ground is shaking, and not quietly. In just a matter of days, over 300 tremors have been recorded beneath Mount Rainier, one of the most closely watched volcanoes in North America. It's the largest seismic swarm in nearly 2 decades, and it's sending shockwaves not just through the crust but through public consciousness. Seismologists are actively monitoring the situation. They maintain that this series of mini quakes are likely caused by hydrothermal fluids interacting with pre-existing faults within the volcano's normal background levels of activity. But beneath the surface, a more dangerous plot is unfolding. A recent study has raised alarm about the potential for a catastrophic mega tsunami that could devastate significant portions of the United States west coast. Recent simulations published in Nature Scientific Reports warn that even a moderate undersea quake in the region could unleash mega tsunami. The area of focus is on the Cascadia subduction zone, a 600-mile-long fault line stretching from northern Vancouver Island in Canada to northern California in the US, which poses a significant seismic threat. Researchers say that a megaquake could make parts of the coastline sink by up to 6.5 feet, which could create waves of up to 100 feet tall, striking cities like Seattle, Vancouver, and Portland within minutes. The fault has the capability to produce a magnitude 9 earthquake, and a large trembler is expected there at least once every 450 to 500 years on average. The last of those major quakes occurred in 1700. But for now, there is no immediate danger of an earthquake, and the studies are on to better understand the dynamics. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Our next story is about cyborg bees. You heard that right. It's a well-known fact that bees play a critical role in the survival of life on the planet, and their role as pollinators is crucial to global food security, nutrition, biodiversity. But bees are not thriving. And according to the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, there has been a consistent decline in bee populations around the world since the 1990s. Climate change, human activity are the likely culprits. And given all of that, is it really a good idea to take bees and use them as bionic drones? That's precisely what scientists in China claim to have done. Viewers can judge for themselves. Now, bees are pretty special, like we said. They can carry nectar sacs that weigh as much as 80% of their body mass. They tuck their legs in like landing gear on airplanes to cut, drag, and they can fly up to 5 kilometers without a breather. Despite all the advances in technology, robotics is a long way off from creating a bionic insect that can match a bee's abilities, but humans are clever. Why not just commandeer a bee's brain and tell it what to do? That is how it's come to pass that a team at the Beijing Institute of Technology has built what it calls the world's lightest insect brain controller. At 74 milligrams, it is lighter than a sack of nectar. And according to the report that appeared in the South China Morning Post, the device is strapped to the bee's back and pierces the insect's brain with 3 needles. It creates illusions with electronic pulses to command the flight. Turn left, turn right, advance, retreat. According to a peer-reviewed paper published earlier this year in the Chinese Journal of Mechanical Engineering, test results have shown that the hapless bee getting zapped by these electrical pulses complies over 90% of the time. And it can do much better than a bionic robot. Shifting focus now to some tragic news coming in from Pakistan. Homera Azar Ali, a Pakistan actor and model, was discovered dead in her Karachi apartment on the 8th of July. She was only 32 years old, and according to the police, her body was found in a decomposed state, suggesting that she may have died as early as October 2024, far earlier than the initial estimate of 2 to 3 weeks before the discovery. Police officials who visited the scene noted critical clues like expired bread and milk in her refrigerator dated September 2024, inactive SIM cards in her mobile phone since the same month, and a power supply disconnection in October 2024 due to unpaid bills. Rusted kitchen containers, dry water pipes, the absence of alternative power sources, further indicating her apartment was uninhabited for months. And these findings suggest that her death may have occurred 6 months ago, though forensic confirmation is pending. The investigation has been complicated by Homera's family's reluctance to engage. Her father has refused to claim her body, citing severe ties from years prior. Her brother facilitated some communication but declined to travel to Karachi. However, a recent development indicating her brother-in-law has contacted the authorities to take responsibility for her remains, which remain at the morgue. Best known for her appearance on the reality show Tamasha Ghar and her role in the 2015 film, Homera was also a theatre performer, painter, sculptor, fitness enthusiast. She had more than 713,000 followers on Instagram. Her last post, shared on the 30th of September 2024, featured candid personal photos. "14 months after tumbling to the ground, the Mulan Rouge cabaret in Paris has returned to its former glory." Our next report telling you more.
The Moulin Rouge is 135 years old, and the sales has always been in motion. So it's for us, giving back to Paris. It's a symbolic Moulin Rouge as it was. It's lighter than before, and the whole thing has been strengthened to avoid any further problem.
We were really sad when the wings fell off, and then we got our windmill back up just before the Olympics, which was a really exciting time, but they still weren't spinning. So we've been waiting patiently for them to spin again.
In the hill districts of Manipur in India, sport is not just about the games, it is a way of life. In Senapati and Ukhrul, the spirit of the tribal communities lives on in the arena of sports. And here, indigenous wrestling and grassroots football are not just pastimes, but a way to unite, a way to hope. In Senapati, the age-old tradition of Naga wrestling draws crowds from neighboring villages. But don't just go by the spectacle, it's a lot more than that. After all, it celebrates strengths, heritage, community ties. Wrestlers grip each other's loincloths, engaging in a contest of balance and skill.
Naga people are particular about their food, especially meat. We often eat chicken in the morning and evening. We are enjoying this sport here. This wrestling is a traditional game of the Naga people, and it helps in connecting different communities with one another.
Indigenous wrestling is more than just a sport. It's a vital thread in the region's social and cultural fabric. It brings communities together and nurtures discipline, perseverance, leadership among the youth.
Wrestling brings peace among the people. Wrestling brings closer to one another, because in the past decades, in the past centuries, we Nagas, as we are the headhunters, killing one another. But after the emergence of the Christianity, after the emergence of the modern education, people come to realize that killing one another is good for nothing. So they have a heart to come together, and this wrestling invites one another to the neighboring village to come and visit to other village to have a wrestling together like this tournament.
It's not just wrestling. Manipur also champions the spirit of football by nurturing young talent. In Ukhrul, 33-year-old Garapam K. Stone, a former defender for Suchdeva Delhi Football Club, is shaping future stars through the Hakok United Football Academy. Founded in 2023 after his retirement, the academy now trains over 70 children, including 10 girls between the ages of 8 and 18. By offering free coaching to girls, he's empowering his Tangkhul community and strengthening grassroots sports as well.
In our current scenario, many youngsters in our community are falling into drug use and other illegal activities. I believe sports can be one of the most effective ways to address this issue. By organizing more sports camps and engaging youth in athletic activities, we can help divert their attention away from harmful behaviors and guide them toward a healthier, more disciplined path.
From the traditional wrestling arenas of Senapati to the football fields of Ukhrul, Manipur is a land where sport is not just about preserving identity but also paving the path for progress. As the youth embrace both age-old traditions and modern games, the state continues to thrive as a powerful cradle of sporting talent and community spirit. Sports that bind communities, inspire youth, and keep traditions alive. That's the spirit of Manipur. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Gampir, signing off. Thanks for watching.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, world is one.
This Business Master show is a show where actually a lot of professionals can actually see how others are doing it. And there are various professions and there are various professionals. There's an awesome lot to be learned, there's an awesome lot to be heard, and it's a lovely show to be on.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
and welcome. You're watching WION The World. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and let's start this broadcast with a quick look at what is making headlines this hour. The American Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that President Donald Trump has been invited to meet his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. The announcement comes as Rubio met with the Chinese Minister Wang Yi in Kuala Lumpur. Russia unleashes its deadliest strategic weapon. It begins exercises with its Yars intercontinental ballistic missile system in what is being seen as another attempt by Moscow to show off its nuclear strength. After the American Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov keep the